Okay, so welcome back to the Quorns kitchen. So today, as I've said in my previous video, I would probably show you my hummus recipe. Hummus is very simple to make. So 2 cans of chickpeas, which I have decanted into here, and that I washed or rinsed in this little sieve first before I'm putting them in this container. And what we're going to do is we're going to wash the skins off. Here we go. There's a skin. Probably do this process 4 times, and then straining those skins through that sieve by emptying this. You can already see the skin starting to manifest. And it's good to take the skins off because you get a better consistency, a better flavor. And I'll probably do this process 4 times. So we'll come back to this when it's the 4th time, and I'll show you how I empty the container into here and all the skins just get held up, and then I fill it back up with water again. But yeah, I do it about 4 times, and basically I kind of massage the chickpeas and the skins come off. But yeah, that's the only thing that's a little bit of a pain. It's a little bit labor intensive to do this. I mean, some people say that you can just leave the skins on, but I prefer not to do that. And so the hummus is going to be made in this my food processor. What you're looking at here is the juice of 3 lemons that I froze from the last video. So we'll have to wait for the lemon juice to melt. But basically, hummus, we're looking at lemon juice, tahini, cumin powder, cayenne powder, my garlic puree, a few tablespoons of water, a little bit of olive oil, and of course the chickpeas. And that's all. And those ingredients and the actual making of it is very, very quick. So we'll come back once the lemon juice has defrosted. It's gone back to juice. And we'll come back here and I'll show you how I strain and deal with the skins. So basically, you know, I empty this container of water into this sieve, catch all the skins, put the skins away, then fill this back up with water, do the process again, and I do it 4 times. 2 cans of chickpeas. Okay, back shortly. Okay, so I'm back at the sink here with my chickpeas, and I'm going to show you the straining of the skins. I've done subsequent washings. This is the last washing of the peas, the chickpeas. So what you do is, I tend to put both my hands in, and you kind of have to get individual chickpeas and just rub them a little and the skin comes off. That's why it's a bit of a labor intensive process. Then when you're ready to strain the skins, you kind of move the water around so that all the skins float to the top. And then, because they're at the top, they'll come out first, as you can see. While the chickpeas stay in. There we go. Then you grab the rest that are in there that didn't come out. And so, you know, that's a lot of skins. So that would all be going into your hummus, and actually it gives it a bitter taste. You know, it's so I don't get too pedantic about it. I try and get the most as I can, but I guess the skins also, they must have some nutritional and fibrous property. Then there's the chickpeas. I just let them strain off like this until I'm ready to put them into the blender. Well, not the blender, the food processor. Okay, so we'll go over to the other side of the bench now, and we'll get our hummus in action. Okay, so the last video I did, yeah, you really couldn't see me. I don't know how well you can see me now, but here we are. So I'm gonna like stay kind of this end. Hopefully this will all work out. All my ingredients are here. So as you can see in the blender here, the lemon juice has now melted. And I'm going to add a fair bit of tahini. So the first thing we do, this tahini is at the end of its shelf life. It's dried up a bit, but it will be fine. So there's probably the juice of about 3 lemons. And the first thing we do is we blend the tahini and the lemon juice in order to make a kind of a cream. That's the basis for the to make the hummus. After which we will add our dry ingredients, including the garlic. So, which I've left in the fridge, excuse me. My garlic paste, oh, I'm coming to the end of it. Not good. And I won't have access to bulk garlic till next week, so hopefully I won't run out before then. Anyway, here we go. So my blender actually died. It's a hybrid blender. It's a bullet invention. And normally a blender, you've got, you can add things in while it's mixing, but I can't do this with this guy. Okay, so I'm going to put it on 3 different settings, starting off with a slower setting and then going up to crush. Okay. Oh. Well, I put too much tahini in. And it's made more of a paste rather than a cream. So, I'm going to have to do an emergency fix, and the only way I can do that is to add more lemon juice. Luckily, I bought some more lemons yesterday, so here we go. Hopefully that will resolve the issue. I'll just try with 1 lemon first. Maybe it's also because my tahini was a little bit drier than normal. Now I think I'm going to need more than that. Look at this guy. Woohoo! It was my father's. A chef's knife. Okay. Hopefully this is going to resolve the issue, and I really don't mind, like you might think, oh my god, that's going to be too lemony, but this hummus, because of the, I don't know, it's probably because of the amount of garlic I put in, the amount of dry ingredients I put in, it's a kind of a hardcore hummus. For the hardcore, it tends to be a bit darker than the hummus that you might buy in stores, and the taste is more intense, but I've been told by a few people who've tried it that it was the best hummus they've ever had. Alright, here we go. Okay, now we've got the business. Let me just pour the rest of this back in so that it doesn't get left out of the mixture. As you know by now, I'm not big on waste. Okay, what have we got now? Huh? A kind of a creamy. It can still be a little bit more creamy than this, but that will do. That's creamy enough. Excuse the fingers. Okay, so now the other ingredients. And of course, once again, you will probably be shocked by the amount of garlic that I'm adding. But that's just me. Here we go. And so what I'll do is, same thing as I did with the salad dressing. I'll add those ingredients, I'll give it a taste, and if I think it needs adjusting, I'll do that then. And of course, when you taste through experience, you have to, so this is my kind of teaspoon. It's probably a heap teaspoon, and I make it an even heaper teaspoon. So that's the cumin powder. So yeah, as I was saying, through experience you can, look, that's a lot of cayenne. You can visualize once you add the other ingredients that are going to cut the intensity down of the things you've added. Same with the salt. Okay, I'm going to put my touch of olive oil in now. Alrighty. Here we go. Okay, so you can see it's still very creamy. Now, we've added a bit of oil and just the garlic and everything. So it's made it even more creamy. Let's give this a taste. Perfect blend. And I can visualize that those flavors will tone down once I add the chickpeas. So in adding the chickpeas, we don't add them in all at once. And this is what I was referring to when you have a food processor that you can add things while it's spinning. That would be the idea with this. You would put them in a little bit at a time. I don't have that luxury, and actually, so I tend to put them in two performances. Because I don't have a means of putting them in the blender. Sorry, the food processor. Okay, so that's not so bad. It's not too darker than what it may have been. Sometimes it's a bit darker than this. And you can see now there's a lot more texture because of the chickpeas. So now we'll add the second batch of the chickpeas. And this time I'm going to really let them, really blend them on the crush setting, so they really get smashed, really get mixed in as fine as possible. Then we'll add a little bit of water, and that will thin it out and enable it to have an even more creamier consistency, a smoother consistency. Here we go. So as it's processing, what I'm looking for is through the food processor, you'll be able to see that all the dry ingredients that you added, you'll see them as little dots. And the more processing you have, the more those little dots will actually disappear and get smaller even. Okay, so look at that. This is what we have now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water so that it blends more, smooths more. And again, this normally is done in a food processor where you can add the water as it's spinning and you can kind of see what's going on. Whereas here, I kind of have to just add the water, and it's a bit more of like blind luck. Hopefully I don't put too much and it doesn't go too creamy. But irrespective, it'll still be wonderful. Here we go. The final blend, the final blending. Okay, well that looks pretty good to me. Here we are. Look at that. That's, you know, I think that's a pretty ideal kind of consistency. So here we go. I'm going to pour it into my container. So the other thing about this is, of course, if you eat it straight away, I mean, it will be beautiful, of course, lovely tasting, but it's only going to get better as time goes on because the ingredients will have more time to settle in, the flavors will get more combined. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Obviously, I will have to take the rest out. But here we go. The Quorns hummus. Very simple to make. And so what I tend to do with my salads every day, one day I have some hummus, and the next day I have a bit of steamed potato, where we've drizzled with a little bit of olive oil, and my gamasio, which is probably the next thing I'll show you. All right, guys, enjoy the recipe. The Quorn out.